Hello, are you ready for some serious piano tweaking? Today we are talking about how to improve, at least for our own taste, some of the best pianos for iOS. And of course we're starting with Pianoteq, which is the most demanding and the most capable, as it is not even based on samples, so it can most probably tweak everything. It's basically a super synthesizer specified just for the piano. So let's start with a small piece that I composed specifically to make this comparison between the original preset and my own edits based on that preset. It doesn't mean that it's better, it just means that it fits better my style of playing, and in its case it even fitted better this composition. So let's hear it. And now the same preset, but with my own modifications. I hope you understand and appreciate the differences between the preset and my own modifications. Let's make an A-B comparison between the two. A being the original preset and B being my modifications. Let's start with the more obvious thing, which is this amazing slider, which is the condition of the piano. I usually put it to 15. It's the original. And now I will put it up a little bit to 15. Detunes a little bit and does other things to the harmonics also. So if you go all the way to the maximum, it will get practically unplayable. If you put it very high but still not in the maximum, or in the middle, so This is already a very effective way of one slider doing it all, but I want to have much more control than this, because when you put the slider up, you don't know exactly what parameters you are changing. You are changing the dampers, you are changing the hammers, you are changing a lot of stuff, and I want to have a little bit more control. I give it just this little bit of a differentiating factor, but then I start with my own thing. Let's look at the tuning part on the left. The original preset has this value, which is 1. I put it to 121. This will make the strings already a little bit more the tune. Let's compare it with the original. Same thing now. There's a little bit more life to the sound already with this. Let's go now to the voicing part. I put it a little bit higher than usual. It is by definition the forte part 160. I put it to 170, so I can go a little bit stronger on the dynamics. In this case, this is my own preference. Your mileage may vary. Here starts then the more complex timbre part, the hammer noise. I like to hear a little bit more. So and now you hear more the mechanics part than with the original. This is something that I also appreciate. Be careful not to use it too much, otherwise it will get very unrealistic. The strike point creates a big modification to the sound. Let's hear it. Just a simple chord. Now the strike point is now on 1.8.6. How it gets different. And now to the maximum. Let's bring it back to where it was. This modifies the harmonic content. All of this has to be done very, very, very carefully. I think I still maintain the character of the Steinway. Now let's look at the design part. In the string length, this is most probably what you will find weird. If you check here, it is 2.7 meters. I shortened it a little bit, 2.51, because this also changes a little bit the character and makes the sound a little bit less perfect, less tuned, creates other kinds of harmonics than with the other settings, and I find it really works well. Again, don't overdo it or we'll have a completely different sound. Let's compare it. This is my version, now the original version. My version again. The original version. What I'm trying here to achieve is just bringing a little bit more life to the sound, specifically when the sound is sustained. The original, it's a little bit too much lifeless to me. If I do now with my own modifications, with all of this already running. You see, in all of the sustain of the sound, there's more life. There's things happening constantly. It's never the same sound, and it's more evident than with the preset. So the duplex scale, it's also something very important, as is the sympathetic resonance. So the sympathetic resonance on the original, let's hear it with an arpeggio. You can hear already a little bit of the resonance from all the strings when they are undamped. But now let's hear with my version. It's more apparent, we hear it better, and it gives a little bit a fuller sound. and more organic sound to it. The duplex scale is so important. It's the undamped strings resonating to all the others. Let's see in the original. Let's play something very close to those undamped strings. It almost sounds like a reverb, but it's not. It's just a high-pitched strings resonating to the others. With my modification. Of course, here I also have ambience reverb, because we will get there, but the reverbs on Pianoteq are really wonderful. But yes, I also have much more duplex scale. Now we go here to this bottom part, to the action part, and let's see the damper position, at which point of the key the damper is shutting off the strings. I placed them in different points, so they immediately on the release they give you a different sound, and it's more apparent here. So here they are in a place that when they shut off the sound, it doesn't change the timbre much, but I put them in a position that you can feel, you can hear this difference. Okay, I also changed the damping duration. I upped a little bit this damping duration. It's very, for me it's very short, and now it's a little bit longer, which should be specifically for this note, not for this, but for this specific it should be. Hear the difference? It shuts off very quickly, and now specifically this one. The key release noise, it's only the mechanical part of the release. So the damper noise is the more important here. If I put it to the maximum, this is an exaggeration. We don't want this, of course, but we want something. If I take it off completely, you don't have any of this. So, and now again, I think it was on 4. Okay, so all of this combined it already makes a very big difference. As some of you might have noted, if you try to make these settings by yourself, you will not get the same result. Why? Because there's something missing. Note by note editing. If you see here, you can detune each note. For example, this note here. You can detune them individually. Okay, and you can also adjust any other parameters note by note, any other parameters that we were dealing with until now, but you can do it note by note. Hammer hard forte means in the forte part how much can you go. So if I put it up, it's too much. If I put it down, it's too muted. So remember that I put it up in this part here, and the forte, and on the voicings. Okay, I put it to 170. It works well for the other part, but it's too much for the bass. What I can do here, it's note by note. In this case, I'm altering a complete region. Yeah, maybe it's better. I'm making it a little bit lower, so it's not so exaggerated. Let's see now how it works. So I could keep my settings even if a little bit exaggerated on the voicing part. See how it brings everything up or down when I change here on the note by note editing. But I can still then fine adjust for each region or even note by note. For example, the string length. Look here on this part how much I changed this. Remember that I lowered the string length? I had to make some adjustments here. I will give you an example. Look how this goes. So I was trying to get some of this, but without destroying the sound completely. Because lowering the notes in this part, it really worked really well, but not for this bottom part. I had to do my own curve here, and I think it worked really well. If I press reset, then it will go to the preset I was saving before. In the duplex resonance, I did a lot. If you hear this, you are hearing a lot of sympathetic resonance even on the bass. I think this is more realistic and how I am used my pianos to work. Let's put it down completely. Let's put it maximum. Too much. Okay. This is my setting for it. Although I already made it higher on this part here. I wanted really to fine-tune according to the different regions. I find that this region is the one that the middle region is the region that needs less of that. And again, when you are getting closer to the undamped strings here on the right, you again need more because they have more effective here. The damper position, this was completely by trial and error. So you have the damper position already on the action part, yes, but here I had to do so much. Let's see if I lower the damper position completely. And now put it up. In the middle, like this, made my own curve. It took me a while to figure out this curve. I think it works really well. The damper position, then you have the damper. The damping duration is so important. Remember that in the beginning, in the action part, I was showing you how I upped a little bit the damper duration, but it cannot work just like that for all the strings. So what I did have to do was going note by note to the damping duration, because I want it to be higher and longer on this part. And if you see here on these last notes, specifically these ones here where you see that I'm playing, those has to really be much longer than the original. Let's check the original. I think they are too weak and too short. So let's check now. I even made it a little bit longer, a little bit over 0, so it's in 109 here. Okay, but after that, if you look at the curve, it starts going down. Yeah, because I don't want the next notes to be affected by this. And by this time they are getting normal. See, when I go down, the bass is getting a much longer release already. So it's much different than the original. Let's see if I do this with the original. Now my version. Original. My version. There would be much more to talk about all of these modifications, but it's unpractical to talk about all of this in one video, because it would have to be a very, very long and technical several videos about each of the parameters here present in Pianoteq. This is really a remarkable instrument, a remarkable achieving, and it's getting better and better. I ask you now to join me just to make a completely weird sound coming out of this. This is a synthesizer after all. Or, let's see, what can I do? Unison with. Maximum. Direct sound duration. Hammer hardness, let's put it maximum for all. Let's alter a little bit the spectrum profile. Hammer noise, let's put it maximum. Let's see how now the strike point will affect this. Okay. Doesn't matter. Impedance. Cut off. String length. Duplex scale. Let's put it maximum. Booming. Okay, now we have effects. Let's use the effects. Let's go here to the delay. Let's put a very more feedback. Just having a little bit fun with this synthesizer. You can get extraordinary results and amazing sound with it if you want, other than pianos also. So have fun with it. Now, just a suggestion. I love the new Bosendorfer 280 VC and the Grand Shigori Kawaii SK-EX. So I have a suggestion specifically for the SK-EX. Let's use again the player preset. It's when we do this. And now here. these top notes for me, they have a little bit duplex resonance too much. So we cannot turn down the duplex resonance in general, because I think it fits well in the rest of the piano. Note edit, we go to duplex scale resonance, and here the difference. You see, you think this is bright, but not because of the notes are bright. Look, if I put everything down, it goes away. So it's because of the duplex resonance. So what I do is I just go a little bit down here. Maybe too much. Okay. Perfect. Now I bring up a little bit the sympathetic resonance. With pedal, without pedal. So for me it works much better. Just a suggestion for this piano, just a small improvement. Of course, all of this can be just improved a little bit more, with a little bit more character, just using the condition slider. The release is much better than on the Steinway, and the Bosendorfer also has already a much better release. I would still work on it, but this is for another time. So I hope we had fun with Pianoteq. Now let's discover a little bit more about how to edit Ravenscroft 275. Let's talk about Ravenscroft 275 and its editing capabilities. In the surface, this instrument doesn't seem to offer a lot of editing capabilities. But let's start with the most obvious and most basic thing, the velocity. This has something that most other apps and most other pianos don't offer, except of Pianoteq also, and even in a more complex way. But here we have something called the amount. I will put it to the extreme so that you understand. The amount is the amount of volume intensity that changes with your dynamics. It seems obvious, right? But wait for it. And now I will put the amount to the minimum, and what you will see is that there is no variation at all in volume, but there is still the variation in timbre. Of course, this is an exaggeration. When I'm playing piano, I don't get this volume on a real piano. But see how I can change the timbre without changing the volume. This is so important because many instruments have this curve relatively well done, but the volume and the timbre variation are not matching each other, and sometimes they have even an excess of dynamic range, an unrealistic one. And here you can do it for yourself. For example, if I put the amount more or less to 92 and put now my velocity curve almost linear, okay, I can put a little bit more amount, not 100%, 96%. This is super important. I really wish that every app, every piano could offer this option. But it really seems that there's not a lot to edit here in Ravenscroft on the surface, because then they have a very good equalizer. I remind you just that if you pull up the frequencies, you pull also the volume a lot. So take care of what you do. So you can really change the character with just the equalizer. It's very well done. The frequencies are specifically positioned so that they really change the timbre. Too much, I told you. Let's turn off the equalizer. They have something that is peculiar to this instrument, which is the timbre knob. It shifts the samples gradually. So if I put 1, it shifts the sample down. So in the C, it's like it was playing B flat, pulled 1 note up. What this does, this really changes completely the sound. Okay, and now going down, it does the same. My best preset would be this, just timbre -1, which would give you a little bit more character than the 0. Just -1 a little bit. Now we do equalizer because you pulled high frequencies a little bit down, so you now would need to pull the high frequencies and the medium frequencies just a little bit. Let's check. This setting works really well for me. You have also a great reverb on Ravenscroft. A little bit more. And now I put the mix down. A little bit more and size more. Mix down. Still a little bit. Unlike Pianoteq, you cannot mess with a lot of parameters, but luckily they offered such a good release already from the start. such a good duplex resonance to start with. I will take the reverb. Such a good sustained pedal resonance. It's such a balanced instrument to start with that you might want to change its character, and you can with this timbre and with equalizer and everything, and also with the velocity curves and this peculiar knob that they have, this amount. But all the rest is already so well balanced. They don't offer you this possibility to change it, but at least it's already very good from the get-go. I hope you enjoyed this tweaking exercise. For me, it's essential. I do this with all my instruments. I do this even with hardware. I do this with the Nord. I do this with all my instruments in the iPad. I always have to find my sweet spot. And I think this is the way you can differentiate yourself from everybody else. Don't be a nerd like me. Play more piano. Play less with the edits. But yes, you should know a little bit, and you should make your own sound for you. You will see that you will feel then better, you will play better, because you will feel that it's something tailor-made for you, by you. So, see you in the next one. Bye bye.